What is going on out there, YouTube, Fragrance family? How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Have a very happy new year to all of you. Let's talk Prive 1 Million by Paco Rabanne. Yes, once again, I'm a little late to the party, but that's usually the case. This tends to be my MO, even though I was born premature, but whatever. This is the new Juggernaut 200 mils bottle that I got in the mail, I want to say about 2 weeks ago, roughly. Right around the time before I got sick. So this is my last fond memory, or one of them. I'm getting a beautiful, big, giant bottle of fancy juice. A beautiful bottle. Over the top opulence, or opulent design, obviously. Gorgeous, ambery, gold, tobacco-colored juice. I'm not going to show you the box because really, honestly, what is the point? Now, before I get into this fragrance, let me talk about 1 Million in general and give you some history on my fragrance journey with. Now, obviously, I've been using Paco Rabanne going back probably into the late 80s or early 90s is when I first got my nose on the original Paco Rabanne Pour Homme. Phenomenal, classic, all-time juice, one of the greatest in the game. Fast forward all the way to 1 Million when that dropped and just took the world by storm, became, and I think to this day has been, the #1 most sold single fragrance in human history. That is not an easy feat. You can hate on it all you want. You can make fun of it. You can punk it. Paco Rabanne is laughing. They have laughed all the way to the bank. And I'm going to tell you right now that 1 Million is, to me, at least in its initial formulation, I think it got reformulated a couple times. We'll get into that a little bit later. 1 Million to me is one of the sexiest, hardest hitting club banger, manly hair on the chest. I'm Italian, I'm French, whatever. I'm Armenian, whatever. I'm the guy, I'm the alpha male. Smell me and swoon. That's what 1 Million to me was and is and will always be in my memory. Now, I'm sorry, I love 1 Million, and I make zero apologies for that. It is, to me, a stellar intergalactic fragrance worth every penny. Now, I'm not sure. I think it got slightly reformulated as it got, reproduced, and they had to make more batches, yada, yada, yada. My 1 Million that I had was either first gen or at the most 1.2, like the very next iteration. It wasn't one of these that are coming out on the market now. Now, my memory of 1 Million is phenomenal. I got compliments galore. I almost never didn't get a compliment when I wore it. It was a powerhouse, a sillage beast, a longevity monster, a projection monster. Just incredible. Why am I saying all this as a preamble if we're talking about 1 Million Prive? Here's the point. I don't know if this is a reform of 1 Million Prive. Maybe they changed it, maybe they altered it, maybe projection longevity sillage is less than when this fragrance initially dropped. I don't know, because I didn't grab Prive on the first run. I got it like maybe on the third generation or whatever, or the second at best. It is an excellent scent, guys. I want to say that first and foremost. It is an excellent fragrance with a couple of minor caveats that you have to understand depending on where you are in your fragrance journey and depending on your bank account. What I mean by that is simply this. To me, this has less projection, slightly less sillage, and potentially a good deal less longevity than my 1 Million original, which again was one of the oldest iterations of 1 Million. It's either the original or the one right after the original, the first reform. To me, I've worn this 3 or 4 times now. Excellent quality juice, beautiful scent. Not the greatest scent, but a beautiful scent nonetheless. And I'll talk about that more in depth in a second. But I don't find that projection is nearly what my 1 Million was. This sits much closer to the skin. I'm not calling it a skin sit. Don't get it twisted. This just, to me, to my olfactory senses, this is not just jumping up off my skin like a 12 gauge shotgun. It's politely exuding influence, in maybe like a 2 to 3 foot bubble, and it's not just hitting people like a ton of bricks. Yes, they can smell me, no problem. That's not the issue, but it's not just grabbing the room by the throat. And I'm sure a lot of you will appreciate that. I'm sure I'm one of the few brave idiots that actually likes perfumes just to ransack the room and announce my presence, 20 feet out or whatever. Not in all cases, mind you, but especially if I want a club banger or a really sexy winter fragrance, I really, really need it to just jump out and kind of shotgun the room in terms of projection. Okay, but whatever. Maybe this is more grown up. Maybe it's a little bit more reserved than 1 million was. It's a little bit more conservative. That's fine. That's fine. I can handle it. I can take it. I'll just go heavier and I'll spray the clothes, and I'll probably get my longevity up that way. Now onto the scent itself, which is, again, as I said earlier, very, very good to excellent. Some of you may even say it's mind-bogglingly sexy and good and sophisticated, and I'm not arguing with you. But what I said before about the bank account issue and where you are on your fragrance journey, if you are someone that can easily or even semi-easily go out and buy full bottles of Parfums de Marly, like Herod and Owajan, you may or may not find that much interest or need in a fragrance like this, because you're handling all your bases and then some if you can go out and buy full bottles of, like I said, Owajan or Wajan and Herod. Pretty much all of the Parfums de Marly are just absolute bangers. You would be hard pressed to prove to me that you can go wrong. Now, there are a couple. Julius Timms writes, not a fan of this one. Smells like potpourri to him, or he says to me. I get that, Julius. I know what you're talking about. There is a subtle element of potpourri, but to me, there's also a very smooth, resinous quality about this juice that I think definitely lifts it beyond the potpourri category. Another thing about potpourri, Julius, is that for me at least, cinnamon is too often a mega fake and artificial over-the-top component in potpourri. This is not the cinnamon that you're getting here. This is a very way dialed back, smooth, sultry, very, very soft cinnamon. Clearly part of the fragrance game as far as perfumes and colognes and EDTs. And Julius points out that the dry down gets a lot better than the initial opening, if you will. I agree with that totally, Julius. That's a fair statement. I think that this absolutely improves on the dry down a lot. I would also say that the tobacco comes out quite a bit more through the heart opening and into the dry down. You get more of that smooth. And to me, guys, this is not so much like a Monte Cristo tobacco scent of tobacco. This is not really a super dry leaf raw tobacco like in a cedar chest. It's just sort of a general smooth, soft tobacco note. Some people call it hookah. I don't personally get the hookah vibe, but if you get it, that's more power to you. I'm not trying to argue, but it's just a smooth, sort of generic tobacco scent. But I think that as it combines with that soft cinnamony, you get some kind of ambery, resinous, almost vanilla, probably from the tonka bean, I'm guessing, coming out of this. It really creates a very, also, let me not forget, there is a nice boozy, almost a bourbon type boozy accord in this fragrance, which is quite sexy, if I'm totally honest. And I know it's been done 100 times if it's been done once, especially in the niche game. But honestly, in the designer realm, this is easily one of the best fragrances, period, hands down, that the world has ever seen, just because it does what it does so well. It was pretty much one of the first to market. Certainly the first that was this sexy / sophisticated / kind of a club banger light, if you will. Now, when I say light, guys, to me, this is kind of like Herod light or Wajan by Parfums de Marly light. If you're on a budget, and many of us and most of us are, this is a phenomenal way to go, honestly. I also would recommend this to people that are huge fans of things like Bentley Intense per ohm, or what's the other one? Gucci per ohm 1. Which, okay, I know that in one of my older videos, I was kind of hating on Gucci per ohm 1 because it was all about the cedar pencil shavings, and it was just so freaking spicy, man. You want to talk about potpourri? Spray on about 6 blasts of the original formulation, the vintage, not this later stuff, the original Gucci per ohm 1, and tell me that that's not just over the top spice. I mean, I agree, it's incredible, but it was a bit much for me to handle, honestly. Yeah, Julius Rice, he picked up a 200 ml bottle at TJ Maxx on clearance for $39. That is an incredible price, my man. I agree. If you look around, guys, now I will say be careful. They are disappearing like wildfire. You better get your nose and your hand, your grubby little digits on this. If you want one at a really, really blowout price, get yourself to a Ross or a TJ Maxx or a Marshalls or whatever you can find in your neighborhood. Some of them still have it. Most of them do not. And what stock they have left is quickly drying up. You better get your nose on this quick if you want it at these prices. Later, guys, who knows? This may go out of production someday. And when that happens, I am going to have at least 3 backup bottles because the price is going to skyrocket to the moon and beyond. But anyways, okay, I digress. Let's get into the official notes, and we'll talk about the fragrance nose on this briefly. This was designed by Christophe Renaud, and he's obviously incredibly famous. I don't need to tell you, he's done just an incredible catalog of incredible perfumes, and I'm not going to go over all of them. That would just be redundant. I've already mentioned that in past videos. But for example, he's done Sexual Healing, Art Meets Art, Besame Mucho, The Golden Secret, which I'm told is really, really good, along with The Secret. Both of those are Antonio Banderas's or Banderas fragrances. He's done Añaki pour lui from Añaki, going way back 2000. Very cool bottle. Reminds me of the artifacts and the towers inside. What's the movie? The Fifth Element. Yes, if you want to check out a bottle that reminds me a lot of The Fifth Element, check out Añaki. That is a man scent in a black bottle. Looks somewhere between Egyptian and North African, with a little bitty nod to Fifth Element. I don't know when. I'm not sure if the Fifth Element came out before 2000 or not. I think it probably did, but let's see. Done Alexander McQueen, Dark Papyrus. What else? Chrome Legend is another banger he did from Mazzaro. Oh, and guys, he did Decibel, which I just got in the mail. I would show you the bottle, but it's in my other room. But I will show you the sleeve for the box that it came on. This is a very good, interesting, uncommon scent. If you want to get your nose on something, and by the way, I apologize for my nasal tone. I've been dealing with, I don't know, flu-like symptoms and head cold for the last week or two, on and off. And that's why I'm sounding even more nasal than my normal self, but whatever. At least you can understand me, I hope. Again, this is Decibel by Azzaro. And a very, very interesting licorice, almondy, sort of a, what's the word? Marzipan type powdery with elements of barbershop soap type vibe. Very, very unique scent. Very, very interesting and probably very underrated. Someday this could be worth solid gold by the ounce. Get your nose on that in the future. And I do have a video, full review coming, and full disclosure. Just to wrap up some of his other, because we're running out of time. He's also done Boucheron, Tuberose de Madras. Beautiful bottle, unisex. Essence of United Colors of Benetton Man. Very cool bottle. I would buy that just for the bottle. Dropped in 08. That's a man scent, technically, if you believe in stuff like that. He did the infamous D600 from Carner in Barcelona, which got a lot of hype and a lot of reviews online. What else? Davidoff Leather Blend, very well received in Fragcom. Also, Velvet Amber Skin Dolce Gabbana. Some Ducati stuff. I've never, ever seen a Ducati scent in real life, and I've never smelled one, that is for sure. I have no idea how good they are. Let's see. Wrap it up. Let's see. Halloween, Kiss Sexy, Holly Berry Pure Orchid. Issa Miyake now, this is interesting. He's done Pour Homme Fraîche, Noir Ambre or Amber, Sport Polar Expedition, and Or en Sang or Or en Sens, which was that incense-based Issa Miyake L'Odyssée. And Jill Sanders, some really cool looking bottles for the ladies. Yoop or Jupe, it's actually pronounced Yoop. He's done Wow and Thrill Man, and finally, he's done a bunch of Kenzo stuff. I'm running out of time. He's done Bois de Vetiver, Karl Lagerfeld, and Kaleidoscope for the ladies. A bunch of Lancôme, including L'Autre Oud and Orange Bigarade, and some Michael Kors. Some Terry Mugler, Ara Mugler, or Mugler. I think he's done the entire Paco Rabanne line, if I'm not mistaken. He did $1 million, whatever the fritz that means. I have no idea why you'd put a dollar sign as if we didn't understand the money connotation after 1 million, but whatever. Then he did the EDT Collector Edition with the really cool sort of liquid gold melting towards the bottom. He did the Merry Millions. He did the Monopoly Collector Edition. And finally, yes, he did 1 million Prive. I don't think he did Lucky. And there may be one other iteration that he did not do. But he did the bulk of all of their collection. Oh, also, before I forget, he did Penalligans, the coveted Duchess Rose. Very, very well received. Not only amongst the ladies, but some men out there that are a little bit braver than I normally am. Also, Roberto Cavalli. He's done Uomo La Notte, and Uomo Silver Essence, and Esti DuPont. Finally, Parfum Officiel du Pays Saint-Germain, and Esti DuPont Intense Pour Homme, or Intense. 6 cents, Series 3-4 Radurani. Very cool looking bottle. Minimalist has I think James Dean on the cover pull out of the box. It slides out. Very classy, timeless design on the bottle. Simple but sleek. And Yves Roche, he's done Amber Noir and Nature Millionaire Pour Homme and Steel by Victorinox Swiss Army. Some other stuff. That's enough. I just want to give you guys the lowdown. If you're interested, he's done just a slew of awesome fragrances. But let's get back to the notes real quick, and then we're going to wrap it up, and I'm going to give it my rating. Again, this is a warm, spicy, balsamic, cinnamony, sweet tobacco-based scent. That's pretty much what you're going to get. Notes in this technically are some type of pipe tobacco, blood orange mandarin or something like that, a tonka bean, patchouli, myrrh, that's interesting, and of course cinnamon. Now, I believe there are some notes they're not officially listing. They're absolutely in here. This has some kind of light apple tone or note or chord to it. I don't know if that's the mashup of the blood orange mandarin mashing up with the cinnamon and mixing with the myrrh and the tonka bean, maybe giving a little apple vibe. But it wouldn't surprise me at all if he put in a couple of aroma chemicals that do, in fact, ape at least a part of the apple. It's not a juicy apple per se, but you get kind of the note sensibility of an apple in there somewhere. Some people say online that it reminds me of a warm cinnamony apple pie. I think that's fair as long as you dial in the fact that it's not overly gourmandy, nor is it overly realistic as far as an apple pie. The cinnamon to me is not overly spicy nor overly sweet. It's fairly mild, fairly soft. Yes, the juice overall skews sweet, but it has a nice resinous quality to it. Again, tobacco is very much a player in this, but I wouldn't necessarily say that this is overtly tobacco-based. It's a major star, no doubt, of this fragrance, but I don't know that I would necessarily classify this as an overtly over-the-top tobacco-based scent. There are a lot of other tobacco-based scents out there, guys, on the market that are way, way heavier hitting if you're solely looking for tobacco. In fact, you can check out my channel for a couple other reviews for some serious tobacco bangers if that's what the doctor ordered. But otherwise, this is a very sophisticated, sexy, sleek, smooth, chic, fantastic winter scent. You're going to get cinnamon, you're going to get tobacco, you're going to get some kind of vanillic, ambery, tonka type accord, mixing in with a little bit of that apple and some kind of blood orange something in there, like orange peel, but it's not orange in the sense of a citrus bright. It's more orange in the something like that if it's been modeled or malted into like a bourbon whiskey type cigar accord, and then all of that is sort of dialed back and layered with like a little bit of ambery honey type sweetness. And so overall, it's just very, very soft, sophisticated. If you don't get compliments with this, you just don't get compliments, period. You need to check your hygiene and your overall look and your dress code. If you're not pulling with any sex with this, you need to go back to the drawing board, seriously, because it's definitely not this fragrance's fault. Okay, to end, this is highly recommended unless you're so elite and so well-heeled that all you do is roll with full bottles of Parfums de Marly and Serge Lutens and other serious bangers in Fragcom and niche sector. You know, if you can pick up the entire catalog of imaginary authors, you know, and not even blink an eye, this is probably not totally for you, just because you're at a level that is, to be quite frank, well beyond this. But if you can humble yourself and take a step back, even for many of us who do own niche fragrances, and I own quite a few, this is still bottle worthy. I would still rock this in a millisecond anytime in the fall or winter, especially when I either get tired of my niche fragrances or I just want to rotate or I want to extend some of those niche fragrances out a little bit longer. This is a fantastic way to do it. Guys, this is sexy juice in a bottle. Now, again, it has a couple of minor weaknesses compared to 1 Million Original. This is not overtly as hairy-chested. This is not overtly as sexy to me as 1 Million. I know a lot of people out there claim, oh, 1 Million, the bubblegum scent. I never really got that, especially on the dry down. And for those of us who know that rocked 1 Million back in the day, once it develops into the dry down, guys, we are pulling all day, every day. Compliments galore. I don't think to this day I've ever gotten more unsolicited compliments for myself and my fragrance journey than I did on Paco Rabanne's 1 Million. Yes, the original, not any of the later flankers, which are all very, very good. And this is very, very different and distinct from the original. This has some of the DNA of the original, but it's quite different. And again, for what it's worth, I think this is toned down a couple of clear notches, at least again, in this possibly reformulated much later edition. I wish I jumped on it right when it came out, but I didn't. You snooze, you lose. But it's still excellent juice for what it's worth. And again, guys, you can pick up a 200 mils for like, I don't know, $58 or whatever, something like that, $60 or less. Try that anywhere else in the design game, much less niche, and you'll be up a creek so far without a paddle, it won't even be funny. That's going to wrap it up, guys. Let me see if I have any questions I'd like to field before I wrap it up. Mike says, no to 1 Million, way too sophomorish. Mike, I understand where you're coming from, bro, but honestly, just let it develop. Give it till about the second, third hour on skin. And I promise you, nobody in the right mind is going to call 1 Million sophomorish. That's much more so prevalent in the opening, where that bubblegum vibe sneaks up out of the opening, for me at least. And again, I had an older bottle. I don't know about the newer generations or possible reformulations, but my older bottle, into the third, fourth, fifth hour, I was pulling compliments galore to just pure sex in a bottle, honestly. He says he has a vial of it. Oh, no. Anyways, guys, that's going to wrap it up. Any more questions or any recommendations, I'll be glad to field those for future reviews. Okay, I don't see any more coming in. I've got another live coming up, guys. Well, I will be reviewing. Well, I'll just announce it here in a little bit. Stay close to the little alert thingy, and I'm fixing to blast out what I'll be reviewing here, probably in less than an hour from now. So I'll have another review live coming at you. Yeah, no, I feel you, Mike. A lot of us who get more into the niche game, I more than get it. There's too many fragrances out there. But for what it's worth, I'm a huge fan of 1 million. Pulled crazy compliments. Not that I'm a guy that just looks for compliments. I'm certainly not. Yeah, I'm probably going to be reviewing here in the next review an oud-based fragrance. One I've been meaning to get my nose on. It's a little bit of a secret. Stay close to your alert box. I'm going to put a shout out about what I'll be looking at here in a second. Very funny. Mike says he never gets compliments. He does funerals for a living. He says, but dead people don't talk. I guess they don't. But if they do, who would know, right? Yeah, okay. I'll go ahead and spill the beans since you guys are actually tuned in live. Might as well. I'm going to be looking at a sample of this guy right here. This is from the house of Laurent Mazzoni. Laurent Mazzone or Mazzoni, however you want to say it. It's Italian. This is Black Oud. It is an extrait de parfum. So it is supposed to be the thickest, juiciest perfume concoction that man can create. You know, yeah, that's actually this guy here. So tune in if you want to feel me about this. This is Black Oud. I've been meaning literally for over a year to get my nose on this, and I finally pulled the trigger. We'll talk about this. Oh my God. I'm already smelling it out of this micro nozzle. I swear to God, I'm not making this up. I almost never can smell frags from the tiny peephole of the actual, oh my God, this is smelling insane in the membrane. Oh my God, if this is anywhere near as good as what I'm getting from this tiny hole, it's game over, honestly, for the oud game, but we'll see. Check back with me, guys. It might be half an hour to an hour. I'll give a shout out before I drop it. So don't worry. I'll definitely give at least 15 minutes heads up minimum. That's going to do it, guys. Thank you so much for joining, for tuning in and staying this long. And catch me in roughly half an hour. No, it's unisex, Mike. It's definitely unisex. I don't know who's typing that it's for women. It's definitely unisex. Anyways, guys, peace out. I will catch you hopefully here in about half an hour or so. An hour at the limit. Okay. Thanks so much, guys. Peace out. Love you.